Sri Gurumurti. Introducing Sri SG to this audience would be like directing a Mailapurian to the Kapaleshwara temple or singing praises of the Kapali temple. So I thought I'd do a short introduction that more than us, I thought he would like. This is Bhagavad Gita quote that reads, Uddharet Atman Atmanam Atmanam Avasadayet Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhu Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha. It's the self that can elevate the self, and it's the self that denigrates the self. The self itself is its greatest friend, and the self itself is its greatest enemy. And here is a gentleman we have in our midst who's been consistently extolling us to become intellectual from the intelligent people who we are. Ladies and gentlemen, could I please request you to put your hands together for Sri S. Gurumurti, an eminent chartered accountant and a very, very responsible citizen, for his special address.
Dr. Swami, the bandwidth of whose presentation covered almost everything that anyone would have liked to say on this platform. So there is very little to be said anyway. But since I am supposed to make a special address, I have to say something. That's why I thought I should speak some points which I thought noted and told Venkatesh that's precisely what I will be talking. Mr. Kanchan Gupta, my friend, whom I am seeing after a long time, and he has changed a lot, put on a lot of weight. And Ramamurthy, the convener of the Action Committee on Corruption, Nambi Narayan, my colleague, M.R. Venkatesh, who has authored this book after considerable work he has been doing week after week. And I have some role in triggering Venkatesh as a writer. I used to tell him that intelligent people should begin expressing their thoughts. And that is like learning swimming. Once you get into the swimming pool, you become a master. Only by getting into the swimming pool, you can never learn swimming from blackboard. So he took that advice seriously, and now you see the result. One of the finest audience having assembled here to be a witness to this great event. Dr. Swami always kept pointing out how we are here, although we are very unlike each other. This goes probably to the DNA which Kanchi Mahaswami saw in both of us. He told Dr. Swami to enter politics, he told me not to enter politics. So that shows that two people who are so totally different in their outlook, in their approach to politics, even probably economics, can be on the same platform because we share certain common ideas about the identity of the nation, which he explained in great detail. See, we are highly concerned people. Today what is happening in the country is so worrisome. In fact, after having done some extensive research and writing half a dozen pieces in different newspapers about the Indian economy, I could not sleep for a few days. I told my friends, did I go wrong because I did not unearth this trend maybe 3 years back? Am I wrong in just doing a postmortem and people say you have done a good writing, but actually have I not failed in my duty, not having alerted this nation and just trusted these people because they knew more about what was happening inside the government? Somehow I could not come to terms with the fact that I myself ventured into writing this so late. So I told people who wrote to me congratulating me for my writing, I said I feel guilty for having done this quite late. I am very, very concerned about what is happening in this country. This country's rise is needed in the interest of the world. Actually, the world is in crisis. The West is in crisis even more. The crisis of the West cannot be solved by policies. It required a much higher dose of philosophy, spiritualism, intellectualism. And so the only source from which the world could get all that is needed for reviving this world that is in distress is a matter for all of us to introspect. Now, where do we go from here? If you look at what has happened in the last 20 years, we had two great leaders. About one, Dr. Swami mentioned, Narasimha Rao. He did everything without doing it himself. He made others do it. He never spoke anything about the policy changes or whatever. He made others do it. Without talking, he brought about changes which no amount of talking could have brought about. That's an extraordinarily highly skilled leadership. The next was Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who could have a 14-party alliance, maybe even 18-party alliance, and focus them on how to build a country. An extraordinarily highly skilled leadership which only history can investigate and record. How that one man made India an object of attention and gave the hope to the Indian people that they could be looked upon as global leaders. The world began looking at India. The rise of India was seen as something very positive because this is the only non-conflicting, non-aggressive nation to rise in the last few hundred years. And so it is Narasimha Rao of one style and Atal Bihari Vajpayee in another style. Now we are at crossroads. Now when a news channel asked me, I generally don't go before news channels, but when they asked me a question as to how do you expect the future leadership to be, I thought anyone who wants to become a leader, who becomes a leader with the hope of trying to get re-elected at the cost of the nation, is the one whom we should fail to elect, refuse to elect, and we should throw out. Anyone who wants to get re-elected at the cost of the nation. And repeatedly this has been going on. Political prosperity of a party or a leader is always at the cost of the country in the last 2 decades. So I told them that I would like someone to become a leader, lead this country, who would like to have a place in the history of India and not in the headlines of newspapers. Anyone who aims to have his name in the headlines of newspapers is the biggest danger to the country. So they asked me whether this particular leader, whom I don't want to mention, whether he is a leader of that sort. I said I trust he would like to leave his name in history, and so it is my hope that he doesn't want to be a leader who wants to become Prime Minister again, but he would like to be a leader who would like to place India on the world map. We need to focus on that kind of leadership. It is possible for an audience of this kind to change the discourse of India. We have been too much on who to win, which party to win. We must cast aside all this and yearn for that kind of leader. And Bhishma said, one may even have to pray to God for such a leader, because such a leader doesn't come to your horizon very often. This election, according to me, is going to be the test of leadership. I told Dr. Swami that I don't want to talk much except to emphasize how in a crisis responsible persons should yearn for that kind of leadership. When President Nixon was being impeached, a senator, he stood up and recited a poem, cried and sat. The first 4 lines of the poem I will cite here. God give us men, tall men, sun-crowned, who live above the fog in public duty and private morals. This is the leadership which this country needs. We should appeal to particularly the opposition party and more particularly the BJP, that we want you to elect such a leader within yourself and allow such a leader to function. And that is the only way by which this country can re-establish itself. And I am very happy Dr. Swami is in BJP. You know, the entry of one person can change the quality of a party, and he has that quality. That's why when he laid out that great agenda, I was extremely happy for about an hour with so much of discomfort, standing and sitting in the aisle. When so many people which of this audience, which is very difficult to collect, this shows the national mood. I'm very happy to have been part of this function, and MRV has done a great job. By writing a book, I never thought you could assemble such an excellent audience. That means that we are almost building the kind of the mood which in 1977, throughout what was supposed to be an impossible government to throw out, an impossible leader to unseat, and no such problem is there. It's the weakest government, the weakest leader, and so we can perform this job. I think our target is 2014 election, when we have to decisively defeat a government which has worked against the country for the last 2 decades. I'm extremely happy I got this opportunity to listen to Mr. Swami and share my thoughts in front of this great audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Shri Gurumurthy.